Namaste, welcome everyone to Satsang this morning. Thank you. Running a tiny bit late, I see. Thank you. Welcome. Okay. Okay, you can start straight away.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Mooji.
Okay, thank you.
I'm a bit nervous now.
It's okay. Take your time a little bit.
I want to see myself. I want to see me. I want your help in this. Right now.
It's very possible and it is impossible. I'll explain. What you are asking for is to come to a complete and direct recognition of that which is alone real and consistent, unchanging, that which alone can be called eternal or timeless, infinite. You want to be fully aware of this, to know that beyond even belief, beyond even conviction. And that is the whole purpose and opportunity of Satsang. Fair enough. You say also, I want to see myself. Then I say, it is impossible. And I'll explain that also. I give an example that if you imagine an instrument like a knife that is so sharp, it can cut things, anything it can cut. But however sharp the blade is, it cannot cut itself. Or the eyes can see so many objects, such variety, such subtleties, but themselves they cannot see. Or a scale can weigh so many objects, but it cannot weigh itself. Similarly, you are the self. You cannot see yourself. You can only be yourself. But I don't want to be rigid, and that's why I say it is totally possible and it is totally impossible. It is impossible because you cannot perceive the self as you do with any other kind of perception, meaning one thing perceiving another thing, because yourself is not another. Everything else is other and another except yourself. Before you, if you are counting, we start, if I say count to 10, you start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nobody starts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are 0. Mind is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 million, 10 million. If you understood what is 0, beyond merely mental understanding, this 0 indicates the self. It is nothing and it is everything. Now you say, I want to see this. You who want to see it is also perceived in it. You, the idea you have of yourself, which is more accurate at the moment, say in a very natural way, and we all can understand, I want to see myself, I want to recognize myself. And in this language we all understand, I understand what you mean. But I have to also say, the self cannot be seen. Not in the classical way of seeing or perceiving something, Whatever you perceive is other. It's some distance. The self cannot be any distance. There's no distance involved. There is not even any separation involved, you see? But if you have that type of mind that says, yes, but how am I going to know it if I don't see it, you see? And that is the paradox, which we hope will be straightened out today. Just a misconception has to be exposed. And then that which alone is unchanging, which is your true self, will come to somehow, you can say, reveal itself, but to who? It must be to itself. Now, I know the language sounds strange. If we are used to knowing things in the classical way, meaning I know something, I know other, how can I know myself? Are there two selves, one to know the other one? It is not like that. So I have to say this first. Then I come back to ordinary language. You say, I want to know myself. Okay. I guess this is what we are all here for. I assume we're all here to know yourself, not to know yourself in an informational sense. Maybe it is easier to know what you are not than to know what you are. You can only be what you are. And this being what you are is not an instruction to do something like be. It is already like that. So how to proceed then with your question, you see? You are aware of yourself. If I say, tell me something about you.
Now I know myself as a person.
You know yourself as a person.
With mind and a lot of thoughts and engaged with it.
You slow down a little bit so we can all hear you. You say, I know myself as a person. Why it's not enough? I know myself as a person. Why it is not enough? Something knows, yeah, but that's not the self I want to know. I know myself as a person. Continue again now.
And as a mind.
You know the mind, yes.
And with a lot of thoughts.
You know thoughts.
And always engaged in the thoughts.
You know interactive thought.
Yes.
You know the engagement with thought. All this you know, and still you're not satisfied. You see? Why? All these you know.
With all these, I am not at peace. Actually.
You're not at peace, no. If all these is only what you know, you're not at peace. You're in pieces, not at peace. Not at peace. So something tells you it's not enough, isn't it?
Yes.
We can say, you know, if somebody say there's a red car outside a Beetle or something, whose car is it? You may say, you know, oh, it's mine. You will not say, it is me, meaning it belongs to me, no? It's my car. You can continue to say, this is my family, this is my wife, or this is my husband, this is my children, this is these are my friends, me, mine. You can say like this. You can also say, you know, my body is so tired. My body, not me. You say, my sight is not as good as it used to be. In the right eye, I would say it's 80% good. In the left eye, 40% good. What sees sight also? My sight, not me. I used to believe this, now I don't. Belief also, you know, it is not you. Even my religion, I can change. It is not you. You see? Your relationship break up, you say, my life is over. It's not you. So if all these things, my life, my wife, my car, my house, my job, my career, my future, my past is past. I can't remember anything. Memory is fading. Something is observed. Memory is not as good as it used to be. That which knows memory is not as good as it used to be. Is that memory? So if all these things that you can address as mine, my mind, my person, my past, my whatever, my, me, mine, all this you can leave aside because they are, you refer to them possessively, they belong to me or associated with them. So what if you leave everything aside that you associate with? Then you are left with what? I also. Can you say my I? Yes, you can also say. Something is aware of this feeling of I. Even my I, the I feeling is kind of linked to ego. This thing I don't like myself. People say, I don't like myself. Who? And or the one who doesn't like the self, is that one true also? So even if we start like that, you'll see that all these things you can leave aside, and there's something remaining which cannot be left aside. Don't just listen to me mentally. Look also. It's very direct what I'm speaking. If you don't associate with any thought, any concept, any belief, any idea, leave them alone. This is what the invitation attempts to do also. So leave everything, even your good name, you leave it. You're aware. You were there before your name was given also. Even before the I sense arose in you, you were already there also. So let's leave them aside just for a moment. Something is aware of leaving them aside also. What is that? Don't think, you can look. You don't have to think when something is in front of you. You can speak about your friends and your job and so on. You can speak about your friends. You can speak about them. But when they're right in front of you, you want to speak about them? So this now, whatever it is, you leave everything aside for a moment. So only something now is left here, which is not a possession. It's fair, I can speak like that? So whatever is left, whatever came to you is secondary. It is not primary. You were there before even the first concept came. Something is here. It didn't even arrive here. Pay attention. What is it? Does it have any problem? And do it. It's very clear what I'm speaking. Everything you say you know, you can also one day not know, or you change your mind about it. You feel differently about it. People, things, ideas, philosophies, beliefs, everything can change. Even personality is changing also. Body is changing. Everything is changing. And there is awareness of the changing also. What about awareness of the awareness itself? If awareness is not resting on any object or any other, it is only resting in itself. Can there be anything greater than awareness itself? It is there before first. It is there during. It is there after, untouched. Where is it? Even your name, your growth, your evolution in any direction is directly perceived. How you feel about yourself, your moods also is perceived. Everything becomes like clouds passing. For clouds to be noticed to be passing, they must be watched from a still place. Even the sense of yourself as a person is changing, passing. Moods are passing, feelings are passing, ideas are passing, sensation is passing. Today, I heard the news this morning. First news, I got news. One couple is driving to Satsang from Bangalore to come today. They have accident. Husband is no more. Wife is in hospital today. That also is past. But what he is isn't past. What you become, you will unbecome. What you never became can never change. Mind will try to convince you, yes, but I want to catch that thing that doesn't go away. But you, the one who want to catch something that doesn't go away, you yourself cannot stay. How can the relative conquer the unchanging? Find that which is unchanging. My words are directing you to that right now. What is the distance to cover? To be where my words are emanating from and what they are pointing to. What journey to make? What religion is needed to take you there? What sadhana? Please tell me. No? You ask a very direct question, so I must match it with a direct answer, not just a mental answer, not merely a conceptual answer, but a pointing, not even a teaching. I don't need to teach you. Learning is too slow. Pointing is direct. If you say, I want to go out for some fresh air, I don't have to draw you a map how to go outside. It's right here. You want to find, I want to find myself. You don't say which is the direction to Chennai. No, I want to find myself. Where can it be? Even before the first step in the direction to find, that step takes place in the awareness you're searching for. Even the one searching is already watched from the place you want to find. Is it not obvious? The doubts can only come in the mind.
It is easy for me to understand what you say. It is through mentally. But experientially, I am not getting it.
Experientially, what can you get?
The awareness of what I am.
Awareness for what you are. Yes, you can have this. You say like this?
I am not getting it.
You're not getting what?
Experientially, the awareness of what I am.
Is awareness an experience? Is awareness an experience? Is the self an experience? Experiences come and go and are perceived to come and go. You are that which experience is experiencing. You see seeing. You know knowledge. Yourself you cannot know. You can already just be. Something is coming. Where does this question come from? From the mind. It is, but I cannot experience it. How you want to experience it? I am looking at my hand. My hand is not looking at me. You are the perceiver. You are perceiving everything. All that you call life, all that you accept to be your life, is only been what you experience or assume through your mind. Your life is in your mind. You want experience? If you experience what you call the self, and many people can tell you, yes, I had the experience once. I had the experience once of the self. It went away. How did you survive experience of self? Somebody also told me, I have been very fortunate in my life. I've sit at the feet of 7 masters. 7 masters? How you survive? How you survive 7 masters and you are still a mister? It's a mystery. How you survive to say, I sat at the feet of 7 masters. What were they doing? How they let you escape? You want an experience of seeing yourself. This comes from the mind. Let's imagine that this is a deep prayer within your heart. You know? I want to find myself. I want to see myself. I want to see myself. And then right in front of you, some being appears in front of you. And they say, my dear, I am the highest being in the universe. I've heard your prayer. You want to see yourself. So, I have come to grant you this prayer. Behold. And right in front of you, magnificent being. 12 wings. Many arms. Blazing with light, radiant. And you are, that's me, that's me. I'm so beautiful, I'm so beautiful. I'm so beautiful. I never knew I was so beautiful. Actually, I had an idea. But at some point, it must dawn to you, wait a second. How can that be me when I am here to see it? And even as for you, who say you're the highest being in the universe, but I was already here when I saw you coming. So, who is real? It seems funny, simple thing, but this idea that I want to, because inside something says, I need to recognize, because I heard it said that I am my essential nature, I am the self, and I want to know that beyond even conviction. I don't want to even believe it. I want to know it so irrefutably that it can never go away. But you who want to know it, are you stable enough for something that is so stable? Yourself is so stable. The one who wants it, is that one stable enough? Or will it just be transformed into stability? I see you're not convinced. So you press on. push me, tell me, I didn't get it, go and tell me, and like this, because I don't want to work on my own, or work with you.
Actually, now thoughts are coming, so I'm not able to.
Right. Thoughts are coming and you perceive them. You know you're not the thoughts, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Is that mental?
Yeah.
That you can perceive the
No.
thoughts? You are perceiving the
thoughts
thoughts.
are mental, but
Yeah.
perceiving is not mental.
The what is not mental?
Perceiving.
The perceiving. The perceiving is not mental. Okay, right. Is the perceiving conceptual? Is it an idea? Okay, let's take it like that. You perceive the thoughts come, and you know, yes, they're not fundamental. They come and go. Okay, what else come? You're here. What else come? You know you're not the thoughts. The thoughts want to say something, but you're not available to them right now. You say, no, there's thoughts coming, but no, not that. Okay? So if you don't touch any thought, you don't touch any thought at all. Okay. So you are what?
There is nothing. Without thought, I'm not there. Nothing is there.
Nothing is here. Nothing is here. Okay. Nothing is here. And the awareness that nothing is here is here. Okay?
Yes.
If I were to say to you, that's it, that's good, you would say?
I don't get you.
Can you describe this nothing? Does it disturb you, this nothing?
No, it doesn't disturb.
So, here is something, and nothing something that doesn't disturb you. Are you confused by nothing?
No.
You feel lost?
No.
No. What's wrong with nothing?
There is nothing wrong with nothing.
But?
Mind comes in.
Mind comes in, mind goes out. Why you say mind comes in? Because it goes out. If it didn't go out, you didn't have to say it come. It goes in and out. And it's watched to come in and out. Don't mind about that for a moment. If you don't engage with the thought, suggestions or whatever, then there's no need to pay any attention to them. Just like you did before. You say some thoughts are coming, but I'm not available for that. So your nothingness remained undisturbed.
Constantly I am not able to catch the nothing. Be nothing.
Constantly you're not able
To be the nothing.
To be the nothing. But is the nothing having trouble to be nothing?
There is no trouble with nothing.
So the trouble is with the someone who wants to be nothing.
Yes.
It's good. A very good conversation, no? Yeah, the trouble, and it is truthful also, the trouble is with the sense of the something that wants to be nothing constantly. Nothing itself is effortlessly nothing, always. But the one who presently considers itself to be something, wanting to be nothing, is having trouble. And that is also perceived.
Yes.
Don't worry about that. Don't identify with that. Keep just being aware of the nothing and see when the nothing becomes something. If it does. When you have the sense of yourself, it is of something or of nothing?
It is nothing actually.
It's nothing. Then the sense of something come. To do with, of course, with conditioning. You have a body, vital force, senses, mind function, capacities, all of that comes to play. And the activities of life, of being a living being, is happening out. that is also perceived. It goes through all its various changes and so on. That is always also perceived. It need not cause any trouble. Come on, tell me what is. You,
It tries to answer through mentally.
but before the mind tries to give a mental answer, you are already here, no? You watch the mind attempting to put things into words, and you reject that.
My awareness is not grounded in it.
Yeah?
Awareness is not grounded.
No, awareness does not need to be grounded. Awareness is constantly awareness itself. It is not a noun or a verb. You follow this or not? Like space. The word space is as close as words can come to give a sense of what you mean by awareness. Awareness is greater than space because even space is perceived in awareness itself. I don't want to just exchange concepts with you. It has to be practical. No? Yes. And for that, there's nothing you need to do about awareness. But you need to watch also the sense of identity that keeps arising through the mind, as mind, that keeps saying, well, yes, but I'm not stable and I didn't, So it's like your mind is saying it wants to be the awareness. But the awareness is already here. And the mind is like the clouds are saying, I want to be the sky. And it's, why? Because it's stable, it doesn't change. But but the cloud is passing also. Come.
I don't know what to say.
There is a sense here that something is missing in the, in this understanding as to drop into place for it to be really accepted. Does it mean you cannot accept that awareness as perceived presently cannot be enough? There must be something more, or what?
No, not like that.
Okay, then explain for me. Help me to understand.
Mind only plays now.
The mind wants?
Mind plays.
Is playing. You see, the reason why that is important is because it's given importance. Of itself, it has no importance. But you, the consciousness, has developed a certain relationship with the mind where you give it much more importance.
It's because of habit, I think, maybe.
Yes. A habit is playing out. That is also given importance. You identify with it and you want it to change. I say you can practice to change these things and there you may have some effect, some change may happen. But it's not permanent and you always have to keep practicing. If you recognize what you are, you don't have to keep practicing what you are. It becomes, for a while you may tend to have to keep reminding that you are not the thoughts going out. But it doesn't take very long and it becomes your natural state again.
Mind only tells that it may take some time to grab this or to get away of this.
Yes, because you feel that the self you're trying to find is at some distance, requires some effort to reach. All of these are thoughts. It is already what you are. You have to be able to bear the assaults of your mind. It's going to keep saying things like that. If you say this is pink, it's going to say, no, it's orange. And then you're going to say, my mind says orange. Because you have a lot of respect for this mind activity also. What is happening with you now?
Mind is trying to say something to your questions.
Mind is trying to say something to?
To your questions.
Uh-huh.
Trying to answer, trying to think and then answer something.
Yes.
That convinces you.
And that's your mind. Your
Yes.
mind. That's how you come to have a mind. You have a lot of respect for the kind of thinking that come, and if the mind says, I don't agree, you say, I don't get it, I don't agree. You are the weakness of the mind. The mind is not the weakness of you. Maybe we leave it for a moment, no?
Okay.
You want to?
I want to finish it off, but I don't know how.
But what needs to finish?
This
To
mind
stop the
game.
mind from saying things?
Mind game, I want to finish it off.
Huh?
Mind game.
Mind game wants to finish it. Actually, the mind doesn't want to finish it.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't want to finish it. You can go on ping pong, ping pong.
From yesterday I have been trying.
Huh?
From yesterday I have been trying to raise my hand. It did not raise. Today from the beginning itself I thought I'll first raise the hand and then raised.
Uh-huh.
It was playing from yesterday itself.
Okay. Yeah, you have to give me a little opening. If you're going to fight me with your mind, I don't think we're going to do very well, no?
Okay.
I said, you're entitled to have your mind. If you want to use your mind, put the mind up in front and say, go on, the mind. We can do this.
It is like a shield.
Huh?
It is like a shield.
Yes, but it's not protecting you.
Yes, yes.
It's protecting itself, maybe. Okay, sit down for a minute, and then if you feel like, then get up again.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Somebody there, 1 minute. Maybe you come. Yeah.
Morning, Mooji.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for this opportunity to
Thank you.
speak to you. What I wanted to ask about was the final letting go of the mind as an instrument to know the truth, and also this facility that we have for want of the better word, the ability to feel.
To feel.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And from my own experience, it seems that with the kind of realization, there comes a feeling. And for a time, there's kind of a subtle carrying on of the mind with the feeling, where in a way that we don't even kind of may not perceive, but the mind is still there in a subtle form as a means to access this feeling. And for me, the real confirmation is in the feeling, or the resonance, or the whatever way you want to.
Yes, but feelings are not consistent.
That's why I said in the better. But as a tool to know who we really are, it seems that feeling is a more valid tool over the mind. And it seems that we there's a need that carries on to define who we are, as defining ourselves as awareness, or defining ourselves as consciousness. But in that recognition, for me, the real thing is the resonance, or the beyond the mind. You know, it's seems like it can the mind can carry on in a subtle form, and it's still there's a defining or a need to define. And when that's let go of, maybe there's more freedom to be actually not having to define yourself as anything, but just like resonating with the key into the key of life, where it's not really those definitions don't really seem to be as important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell you actually that one comes to a certain point where nothing is going to represent the self. Even the most subtle of feelings, even a feelingless feeling, will not be indicative of the self, because that feelingless feeling is also perceived. I am at the place of zero. I don't need to look for anything as an indicator or a measure or a reflection of what is. Nothing. No measurement is needed. Not feeling. Feelings are fine. They come and they go. I have no war with feelings. Feelings come. They are part of my dynamic experiencing. The feelings are there. Thought is there also. Mind, even in its subtle play, is there. I have no war with mind now. I accept him. He's also part of my dynamic self-portrait, in a sense. But it is not any way looking for anything to define awareness. The awareness does not need to be defined. Totally zero, beyond even the concept of zero. Now, in the mind or the sense of the seeker, always looking for a little bit of oxygen to survive as the one who seeks and the one who finds. When the seeker finds what it's searching for, the seeker ceases to exist. When what the seeker is searching to find, when that is found, the seeker is no more. And the sought is no more. There is only the reality there. So feelings, you're right, are maybe a more pure indicator, a more reliable measure, more like spirit than thought, even, you can say. But neither of them matter that much as a way of assessing awareness. Awareness does not need any assessment anymore. When you have found that this is your own self, not a belief, not a thought, not even a conviction anymore. It is just an unquestionable. It becomes an unquestionable fact. It is just there, and then everything becomes very simple. I am not the one living life. I'm not living life. I am life. And at the same time, the witnessing of life occurs to me. So I'm not somehow searching to get anywhere anymore. And yet there's a beating heart, there's a feeling in the senses, there's a mind, there's a sense of likes and dislikes, but they're very superficial to that. They're not part of who I need to be who I am anymore. And still I delight in, I'm grateful, I enjoy the senses, as a thank you and so on. I don't rely on them to know who I am. It is very beautiful, because as long as the sense of identity is persisting, there will always be a sense of need and a sense to measure and an urge to keep finding and creating and so on.
Yeah, it just seemed that for me that was the distinction kind of between an intellectual understanding, which is kind of not so difficult to grasp the concept or the idea, and then sinking into the kind of actual resonance, or maybe feeling was the wrong word, but
it's okay. It's okay.
And I think I heard you say the other day, like a sinking of the mind into the heart, or
yes.
Yeah.
It paradoxically, it takes time to discover the timeless. Something continues to be thinning away in the presence of your seeing. Not that you're taking one thing, putting over there, just by somehow in your own field of self-awareness, being more aware. Naturally, it's happening. Then the references through the senses and the mind and otherness is thinning away, and one spontaneously just become the self. It's just there. It just something is thinning away, and like that. At the point where it vanishes, you may not know, but a moment come when you will meet a situation and realize that something has changed. A way of that used to follow cease is no longer there. It's not that you chop something. It's just something you have transcended somehow, surpassed it. In the beginning, these meetings and talking and looking and verifying this and so on, and feeling that some experiences are merely intellectual and others are much more profound and more deep, that is somehow exercising the consciousness to keep moving more deeply into its root. The ultimate resolution or evolution of consciousness is to emptiness of awareness itself. Natural. The words don't seem so appealing when we are in the field of language and personhood, because the person wants beauty and creative space to explore and so on. But in your natural mind, in the jnana mind, none of that is needed. It is so pure. It is so pure. It is there already. It is what you are, what we are fundamentally. And yes, for a while, why we say something, we understand something intellectually, is because the mind challenges it, It brings doubts, you see. Yeah, but I don't feel grounded in it, and I don't feel grounded. And this reference of I itself is a construct. This I feeling is not the final self. It is also a kind of construct. It's not true yet. You see, yes, it takes time, and gradually, something is just melting out. At some point, you don't need to go into shape, and yet you're not a recluse hiding. You're not afraid of the world, but you don't need to take shape. If a shape is taken, it's just momentarily. Like a shape is formed in the infiniteness of the shapeless. And the ground of your being, it doesn't need to take a shape. It's just always, it's immeasurable, it's edgeless. And so the need to plan existence is not needed anymore because the fear is gone. Everything is unfolding. Everything in the dynamic field is just unfolding. And it unfolds into a harmonious way of perceiving. Nothing has got a fixed meaning. Nothing exists as a fixed meaning. The meaning of a thing exists in the mind of the one who perceives it. It's very subjective at the level of the phenomenal interaction with the universe, the phenomenal universe. And even of thought, everything is very subjective. But it is a pseudo-subject, it's not the real subject. The real subject is yourself. Even the word subject is not needed.
All I can say is after all this time that it's become so simple now that all that I'm left with is peace.
Peace. Yeah.
And with that, it gives me the ability to play that role as a person if I need to. You know, it's there, but there's no real identity. But
Yes,
still,
yes. It happens spontaneously.
Yeah.
It happens spontaneously. Even a role is happening, you may not even feel it's personal. Someone else may think it's personal. You don't know what it is, it's just functioning.
So rather than trying to be somehow personless in a, you know, I can still have that. I can do.
Yeah. It's still a person trying to be personless.
Yeah.
Yeah. When truth is recognized, then the idea of person or impersonal, all these adjectives and descriptions, they're not necessary. They're not necessary. They're not real, actually. I know it can sound dry, but it's only dry in the sense that you're not feeding on concepts, the need for concepts. You know? But it is a paradise in its essence, a completeness, a purity. You said peace. Peace is not unlike emptiness. It's not unlike love. It's not unlike joy or wisdom. It's one, it's just the same one. It's like that. It's like in the invitation, you answer one. Sometimes people say, yes, I answered all the questions, but I couldn't answer the thing about will it die? I couldn't answer this question. I said, no, you already answered it, because any answer you gave like the other ones is the same answer for all the things, actually. If it is formless and directly perceived. Mind makes all this thing. And yet mind is marvelous. It's marvelous. It is very necessary in order for duality is a necessary in order for experiencing to take place. There could be no transcendence without duality. The play of transcendence. I only point, because to teach, then it becomes more mental, and sometimes the teaching happens, but it is so direct. Before I can point, it's already there. It's already there. The pointing is a afterthought, it's secondary. So I can only point out. I can't point at.
Okay.
Thank you. You come first. You have to say? You want to say something? Come. If only you would allow yourself to see the simplicity of it. My God. It's absolutely simple and pure. It cannot be perfected because it can never and has never been imperfect, you see. Somehow it feels as though there's a kind of screen of mind where the attention is going and the identity that we hold on to as being some autonomous, independent entity trying to get somewhere. All of this has to be seen. Yes.
Namaste, Master.
Nice. Thank you.
I'm very peaceful, very blissful, very relaxed. I'm just surrendering to the divine will. Every pain teach some lessons.
Every pain teaches some lesson, gives some lesson.
Every lesson change a person.
Yes.
So in my life, there is big pains happen to me.
Ah.
I'm just sharing my experience. There is a big accident happened to me. When I ride my bike, there is a big lorry came and hit my bike. I fall into the road. In my head.
Yeah.
It's a neurosurgery, 2 neurosurgery. I'm in ventilator for 21 days.
Come speak closer to the microphone.
I'm in ventilator for 21 days.
You were on the ventilator for 21 days.
21 days.
Okay.
When I ride my bike, the lorry hit my bike. I fall in the road. I see only the light here.
Yes.
Only the still light here.
Yeah.
Nothing is here.
Yes.
So, that pains create an emptiness in my life.
Yes.
My ego, everything just
Vanished.
vanished. So, now also I'm searching for seeing the light
Yeah.
that's inside me.
Yes.
Then my spiritual life start to learning more, experiencing, learning, meditating. Now I'm here. Some unexpected things happen. So this is, I think, already pre-planned. So I'm just
This is already
surrendering.
pre-planned, you say, yes.
So I'm just surrendering to the divine will.
Yes.
So after my accident, my left side is paralyzed. I
Left
walk
side is
like
paralyzed.
this. I cannot walk. I cannot speak. Everything is lost.
Yes.
But the God Almighty, the higher, the energy just healed me.
Yes.
So everything.
He said, yes. So after accident, if I can because they could not hear you so well, he was on bike and a lorry or something hit him from behind. Then he broke here, had to be in intensive for quite some time, 21 days. And in that impact, great pain, but at the same time, a light appeared. And in that, the power of the light, a healing was taking place inside him. The ego that formerly was part of his life vanished. This healing has taken place. Since then, he's been somehow learning more, feeling more to surrender to the Supreme Self, and learning more, developing more in his spiritual awareness of life. So, it was a good, this accident or not?
Yes.
Yes.
This is that pain teach so many things.
Yes.
Because after I fall in depression for so many months, then I go through meditations,
Yeah.
learning.
Yes.
Then I write a song. I just sing in front of. I am light. I am love. I am the power. We are light. We are love. We are the power. We are one. We are one. We are one with the God. We are one. We are one. We are one with the all. All is God. All is God. All is God. God is light. God is love. God is the power. We are light. We are love. We are the power. So, the stillness,
Yes.
the inner peace,
Yes.
the inner calmness, the inner stillness,
Yes.
and surrendering to the divine will. No I, no mind. So I got so many precious gemstones from Master. So I am very blissful and happy. So every in my life teach, every pains happen for a reason.
Yes.
Without pains, nothing happen inside. So I'm happy.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I actually raised my hand today for my husband, who for many, many months has burning question to you. And if possible, I would love to give my spot to him. If it's possible, I would
Yeah,
love to.
yeah, it's good, it's good.
Yes, thank you very much for picking up.
You know, it is a very loving thing to do. It is
Hello.
loving to, hello, no.
It's so strange, Mooji, to be here,
Ah,
knowing so many people around you, even the person that holds my microphone now, very dear friend. Everywhere I look around, familiar faces. Oh, yeah. Mooji, you should know, I live here around the Arunachala, and meeting so many people coming from you. Over the years, I started to have many issues around you.
many
Issues.
issues.
Many issues. I mean, in the beginning it was very strange to hear myself because it sounded very much like you. But then when I heard these people, I started to change my message. I didn't like my message anymore. What happened is actually I started to look in the heart of these people coming. And what I saw in there, it was like this strife, as this person was describing here. I'm just trying to catch hold of that, which is the self. You don't even know how many times I heard the expression, I try to stabilize myself in the self. I'm already sick of this expression. I want to ask you if you are aware of the fact that unconsciously many people coming to you are actually trying to replicate an image of you, not the reality of you, because they don't perceive the totality of you. They don't perceive you as a human being also. And I feel this is a missing component in your teaching, a very, very missing component in your teaching, because they cannot be complete unless they see you as a human also. With your emotions, with your screaming, with your shoutings, with everything that you are, as a human. And it's not a problem with that, we are all like this. Because they get stuck for years and years. And trust me, I heard people which they've been stuck for 10 years with you. Some of them, 3 of them, they committed suicide. Even now in my country, I have a young, very young female, which in the last phone call, she told me that she contemplates the idea of suicide.
Because?
Because 3-4 years ago, you told her to drop everything, and she dropped everything. And when I talk with her on the phone, trying to guide her towards some therapy, some psychotherapist, because I think she really needs it. She stayed all these 3 years. She stayed inside her apartment, screaming at the walls, being in a great depression. And sometimes when I talk with her,
hold on a second.
Just let me finish. I listen to your satsangs, hundreds of them. Trust me. I think I deserve this. So what she tells to me is that Mooji told me to drop everything. Yeah, and she got stuck into that state, and she cannot move on.
What it mean to drop everything? What did she say? What did it mean?
You tell me. You told this to her.
Well, you seem to understand, no? Because now you're saying that, I told her to drop everything. What it mean? I speak like this to everybody, depending upon the context. What it mean, drop everything? No, let me speak.
Yeah.
What it mean, drop everything? Drop the attachments. If I see someone and they're totally, in pursuing something, and they say, no, why you take it all? That is not my fundamental. You don't see me going there, drop everything, drop everything, drop everything. You don't hear. You do not hear that.
Okay, what I want to happen here, if it's possible even, to have an open dialogue, because I don't want to take my question and start a monologue for 2 hours. I'm not here for this. I know all your talks. I really listen to all of them. So I'm familiar with whatever you feel like saying, but I have something to say, and then in small sentences, if we can communicate like this. So,
the reason why I stop you is you say already you know 3 people who either have committed suicide or wanted to commit suicide.
No, they committed suicide. Fluctuating.
And that is to do with my teaching.
Fluctuating committed suicide in 2018 in your ashram. Fluctuating.
Who is that? You see, listen, let me tell you something about this now. Here is somebody who has this kind of thought. The person they're talking about, he mentioned one person who was in Sahaja, and this man, a young boy, lovely person, everybody loved this guy. He worked in an area working in land care. He had a very good team, very good friends, And this thing we heard, he was staying in another place, and we heard he's missing. Everybody's looking for this person. He's missing. What could happen to this person? Then they found that he committed suicide. When we did this, actually, we found a letter that he wrote, saying that this has got nothing to do with anyone at all. We have this letter. His mother also came to Sahaja.
Mooji,
You stop for a moment, because you raised a point.
I raised it.
And that's a very strong thing to say. And we are many people here who know this case, who live this case. You don't know it. This man's mother came to Sahaja, actually, and she fell in love with all the people in Sahaja, because she said, from my son was a little boy, he's obsessed with taking his life. She said, thank you for giving him a period where he's been happy. That's what. Now this man is trying to put... No, let me finish my point.
So I heard the story.
Let me finish my point.
That you said is mentally ill, but everyone can see the satsang. Everyone can see the satsang first.
Yeah. No, you have said something, and your intention is to bring some sort of cloud around our community. People have been trying to do this. Now he's trying to come and to try and make these things as though there's something wrong with our community. Sahaja is one of the most powerful places, filled with beautiful beings from all over the world. This man is trying to make a statement when we have proof by the people themselves who come and say, thank you for taking care of my son, because I saw in the last 4 years he regained a sense of happiness. We have letters. We have his mother's words on film saying this. These are the things that happen, and people like this, they develop something. Why do people keep coming to you? Because you want to attract voices of people who sometimes, in satsang, when challenging things come, why they come? Because in my satsangs, I speak directly about what is hindering people from going through. And sometimes people, they feel that, the ego comes very strongly in them, and then they can sometimes start to speak like this. This man is not speaking the truth. I don't even know him. He's come and telling me now that somehow these people suicide and so on. That is not fair. That is not true. Even today, I said now, this morning, somebody coming, they had an accident on the road. In a short while, you hear somebody saying, look, again, is another person doing. This is not right, actually.
Okay,
Nowhere you will find in my teachings over the years my encouragement to people to do any harm to themselves or anyone else.
Okay.
If you find that,
Let's
then
go
you may
back
come.
to the teaching.
No, I don't want to talk with you, sir, anymore, because I see that you are not speaking the truth. I will speak with anyone who speaks the truth. I am sorry. I'm sorry. You're not going to come here and ruin my satsang. You are not going to do it. No, you have been given a chance to speak. Okay. I would say something. Wait a second, so that people don't feel that, we are ganging up against something. If there are people who would like to hear this man speak, then you may stay, sir, and you may outside, people can meet and they can talk with you. Sorry? Listen, there are many people like yourself who have been making videos and these type of things, trying to create a big stir, you see, again, like this, making a big stir because they are, for whatever reason, creating a lot of lies about myself and this community. It is nothing new. It is happening from a long time ago, even from the days in Tiruvannamalai when we were here. So I am not so shocked that this person came and trying to associate that somehow people are committing suicide because of this teaching. That is just so unfair of you.
I would really like to bring our attention back to the point why we're meeting here. I don't need to speak for this man here who's bringing a different perspective into the satsang at this moment. Everybody's come here to listen to why we come here today. And I would like to take the attention off him and back to the satsang.
Okay, next person to come. You, sir, one of you over there, your hand is there, you can come and speak.
Bring it down. Okay. Pranams, Moojibaba.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here in Tiruvannamalai.
Thank you.
And we appreciate and we love you despite whatever happens around you. And I think whatever happens like this is part of the game.
Yes.
My question is, I'm a medical doctor. I know the human being is made up of 100 trillion cells, and each cell firing millions of impulses. The heart is beating by itself, the blood pressure, the breathing, the brain neurons, the eye seeing, the hearing, everything is automatic. So is this human being a body-mind complex, which is a biological robot with no free will? And the entire thing in this universe, the solar system, the sun, the stars, this planet rotating, me talking, you listening, is this all programmed without a programmer? And there is no free will for this human body-mind complex talking to you.
You're a doctor of what?
Medical doctor in Chennai. I'm practicing medical doctor.
Well, I don't think that people, we have heard this type of statement before. I don't think that this is in alignment with people's actual living experience, we talk about a sense of free will. People have free will or not free will? We have an exaggerated idea of free will. You have the freedom to dream, but you don't have the power to just make your dream come true in the way that you project. And about this thing about free will, or whether we don't have free will, so much discussions have happened about that, but from within the living experience of people, the sense is that they have a certain amount of play of will. We thankfully don't have total free will. That's why I say we have the freedom to imagine or to desire to do things, but not necessarily the freedom or the autonomy to make that come true in the way that we imagine.
So what I come to understand is that coming from the words of a master, who I always believe is the word of God coming through the cosmos, because you are like a server, an internet server in flesh, telling us what is the truth. Am I taking it that there is no free will totally? And this is just a biological robot like Apple
No,
robot?
it would not be fair of life to say that there's no will, because, let's put it from the perspective of that in all the living beings, there is the sense of autonomy, not pure autonomy. There's a sense of will, because we do have, if you say, if I want to change my mind 100 times, it's up to me. 101.5 times, it's up to me. And somebody else may say, well, okay, but if it is you sense it is your will to change your power to change your mind 101.5 times, it is still the destiny that you would think like that. See, so these kind of conversations are going like this. I don't know what we intend to reach through them, what in our experience we feel that something, you may say, before you consciously feel that you are going to do something, earlier signals are there that perhaps you are not aware of at a conscious level. And when they surface in a region where you may say you're conscious of it, you have the feeling that, yes, I want to do that. But the message may have started much earlier beyond your conscious mind. So we can talk like that. I feel that no one is really, really so troubled about that. We feel we have sufficient will to move in the direction that we want to largely. But it's good that we don't have total will, yes.
The reason why I'm telling this, I'm now 56. For the last 30 years, I've been seeking.
Yeah.
1991, I met Mataji Sri Nirmala Devi, Sahaja Yoga, Kundalini Awakening, instant going into silence. So for 30 years, I've been into this, and the silence went away after 1 year. And then
slow down a little bit so I can,
1991, I met Mataji Sri Nirmala Devi from Maharashtra, who was a saint. She had a mass initiation, and she was doing the Kundalini Awakening. So I went as part of the Satsang, as a medical student. Immediately, I could get the feeling of silence. That was there for about 6 months to 1 year. I didn't do any sadhana, just total silence and witnessing state, without knowing anything about Advaita or non-duality, though I was an Indian.
That's fine.
Then it slowly started slipping down, came back to my normal state. Then I became crazy about this. It's like getting a shot of heroin first, free. So I started searching for this into Sahaja Yoga. Went to do the Satsang. I became an office bearer like some of the people here. Like
you became a what?
Office bearer. Like
office bearer.
Being a volunteer for the talkings and teachings of Sri Mataji whenever she comes to Chennai for her Satsang. Then for about 3 years I was into this, and slowly I started reawakening my silence experience. Then for a certain reason I had to leave the organization for some external influences. Then I was into a lot of Vedic teaching, Indian teaching for 20-30 years. Then I started hearing Osho, yourself, Eckhart Tolle, Adyashanti, then Tony Parsons. And still the questions keep on happening, like the friend today, the first gentleman was questioning you. Still I don't have a clarity and slipping back into the consciousness. Till 2014, when I met Lisa Keynes, she's one of the teachers in the circuit. I met her on Skype, and then I came to know her, and I have been arranging her satsang in Tiruvannamalai. After talking to her in 2014, I got a U-turn, where her teaching was, there is no you, there is no I. Then I started listening to some more teachers recently, Roger Castillo and Navajo Vada. And slowly the experience has been deepening the last 1 month. Maybe that is pushing me towards the satsang, where I felt The last 10,000 years of recorded human history from the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, so many Puranas, Mahavir, Buddha, Adi Shankara, and present host of teachers like Jiddu Krishnamurti, Osho, still thousands of people coming here around may be missing the point because they think they have a free will. And I was thinking, teachers like you in the modern world who are now recorded for posterity on the internet, we never had the voice of Jesus or Mahavir or Buddha. It all came down diluted. But when masters like you hit on which I feel as a seeker was the most important thing, that I am a robot. When that happens, my anxiety and worry about the future dies down.
May I ask you, when you say that I am a robot, what are you referring to when you say
when I say that, the I is the mind. The mind thinking it is the body, and the mind thinking it has got the thoughts, and there is an energy inside me which is the me consciousness. There is some app like the WhatsApp which owns this body mind and says, I am doing it. And then my anxiety comes for tomorrow, what will I do?
But
then the worry comes.
Wait for a second. Is there not something earlier that is aware
Yes.
to say
Yes.
mind is functioning
Yes.
like this?
Yes.
This I person is functioning
Yes,
like this?
yes, yes.
Can we ease back into that
Yes,
space?
I'm into that. I'm speaking from there. But
Okay.
still, the mind is so powerful after 50 years of conditioning, like a cycle, which has cycled and now the pedal is slowed down, still the cycle is moving. The mind with its anxiety, worry, takes me to the future and disturbs that awareness and presence which I feel.
But
There is no problem
There
there.
are two things there. One is the awareness itself, which
Correct.
is impersonal.
Yes,
And is unaffected by the
Yes.
play of the
Yes.
body-mind, the psychological patterns of mind, and so on.
yes,
So when you say you're speaking from there, then you say that the mind is disturbing and so on.
See the-
I find two different
yeah,
locations.
the
you're
interface
speaking.
between that silence and the mind is very dynamic. There is a silence and the mind speaking. When the mind speaks, automatically the body gets disturbed. And the entire body-mind goes for an oscillation. And this silence is there. My question is, on a day-to-day existence now, it's not the question of me sitting down in meditation to go into silence. I am aware of it. I am not searching for that eternal me. I found it. But I know my life is limited. And beyond enlightenment, I have understood what enlightenment is. It's not like angels coming and with multiple arms, the me coming. It's living day to day peacefully. For that, though I am in the awareness, the body-mind oscillations disturb me on a day-to-day basis.
Disturb you being what again?
Me means the body and the thought and the awareness.
But
This
the
is
body,
the
no,
complex.
one second. The body, the thinking process, all of these are functions.
Yes.
Okay, let's slow down for a moment. All that you call even the play of the intellect, it is a function. The play of the weakness also is also function. You see, something is aware of these functions, which itself is not a function.
Yes.
Can we come to that place?
Yeah, we are there.
Because
I am
in
there.
the region of functions, everything is in flux, everything is moving. Nothing is so stable that you can rely on that being like that the next day and the next day. They're all in flux, always moving. And something is aware of that. So real spirituality, real truth discovery is not in the field of the ever-changeful. It is apparent that there is in the dynamic play of mind and thought and body and activity and the elements is always in flux, no? So we are not trying to stabilize that. In fact, when you are aware of yourself as awareness itself, so that tendency to identify with this dynamic being, there's more dynamic activity in that realm of consciousness, but you are not disturbed in the same way. The sense of personhood, the leftovers from the earlier days of less awareness of yourself, that will continue flapping about a little bit, but gradually that also come under the harmony of the higher consciousness. And so the sense of being disturbed by the play of the body-mind tends to happen when the one who feels it has autonomy wants to control the body-mind functions to match its own projections and fail to do that and then feel I am disturbed by that. The state of Jnana Yoga, or the one that the place where you have fully established in yourself, sees all this, and it may even experience the turbulence, so to speak, but it doesn't have a strong emotional reaction or resistance to that. Just like the ocean is ocean, whether the waves are strong or not. It doesn't say, I am not so ocean-like today because of the waves are disturbing me. Everything is fine. It's one with everything in that way. So I don't feel, when you indicated that there is some disturbance still going on, for there to be disturbance, there has to be someone to be disturbed. The whole intention and purpose and opportunity of self-inquiry or spirituality is to change the focus from the state of personhood that evolves into, you may say, the state of presence, which is more a witnessing presence. And then gradually that gets assimilated, or that gets merged into the background awareness, you may say, like that. Now, it sounds technical, but there's actually a living, soulful experiencing of that, you see. It's not dry, it's not academic, it's very, very at the very heart of life. And so the one who has come out of the turbulent states of personhood and even of the sense of conscious presence, knowing that that is part of the dynamic portrait of the consciousness that comes from pure awareness. You see, if I may just say, in trying to make it more simple, in this country, there are the terminology of what they may call Nirgun Brahman and Sagun Brahman. I'm going to use these terms and I'll explain what I mean by them. When we speak of Nirguna Brahman, it means that pure, attributeless awareness, consciousness, you see. That is called the pure self, the absolute reality, what we are fundamentally and unchangingly and timelessly. That is our reality. We are here to discover that. It's not too high for you to discover. And in fact, in the exercises, such as the invitation, is to help to guide you into the recognition directly of that state that you are. In fact, it is easier to come to that supreme consciousness than to try and control what you may call the Saguna Brahman, which is the same consciousness in its dynamic portrayal as existence and the world of innumerable life forms and the functioning of consciousness and the conditioning and the play of conditioning and all of that makes sense when you are established in your fundamental nature in this Nirgun Brahman. Satsang brings this into your consciousness again in the most natural way. That is the opportunity of satsang. When you can see the recognition of your fundamental nature directly proven experientially, the impact of that is that it blesses every aspect of your dynamic functioning, is automatically imbued with the power of that grace that comes from the Nirgun Brahman. Now, I'm using these words. I grew up in a very simple way. I was not an educated person in such a way. In fact, my earlier set awakening was much more in a kind of Christian tradition, as much more one who surrenders and so on. I still am, in fact, like that in a way. But somehow, you may say, the destiny of this expression was to come and discover about Advaita thought and teaching, which at the time felt a little bit unusual for me, but something quickly adapted to it. And I saw the directness and the simplicity of it, not the dryness. I could see the dry part of it, but maybe because of that bhakti influence from earlier, it pumped some warmth in this Gyan Yoga. Now I see, and through the exercises like the invitation, people can come into that direct recognition that you will not say it's intellectual. It's totally experiential. It's totally the proof of the reality of you. You see?
Mooji. So, is there a practical tip to slip from this dynamic state, though you are more in the consciousness? Is there any practical day-to-day
You see,
application?
this is the beauty, because even as a Sangha, we travel around and so on, and where we live in Mantisaja, we're not just sitting down looking in the stars and this type of thing, There's a lot of activity, a lot of caring. We're involved in our local community. People are working, and sometimes work quite long. And at the same time, they are fully in satsang. So there's a compatibility in that. It's not that either or. Is this as well as, in a sense, that I don't see a conflict with daily life, so to speak, and the realization of the self. In fact, it is the jnani who shows the way that in the realization of the self is actually it enhances and promotes a deeper harmony in the dynamic expression of life. But it does it in a very authentic way. You see, it is not an imbalance at all, you see. And at the same time, it doesn't call upon you to balance anything.
Suppose I were to just ask a very childish question, the same question of free will and destiny, if it has to be with a single word answer, yes or no, instead of sentences, like multiple choice questions, we have yes and no. Does the human being have a free will? Yes or no, Mooji?
That's a very inefficient question, because you're compressing me to restrict something that really needs deeper clarification, because it's not a black and white answer, you see. In fact, all our experiences are subjective, you see. What answer I may give now, they will always, you may hear from my very lips another way of expressing it. They say, but that's not what you said before. And that actually is true to life, because I'm not merely answering a question, I'm also answering the questioner. And the questioner may have a different orientation, and I must answer in a way that you can grasp it. I cannot just give you an academic question and say, yeah, good, that's
it. But Mooji, I am the questioner now.
You are the
and
questioner.
I can accept a yes or a no.
Okay, shoot again. Tell me what your question is.
I just want a yes or a no.
Yes,
to the question. The question starts now.
Yeah.
Does the human being, as perceived by normal population, forget the Advaita, does the human being have a free will? Is it a yes or a no, Mooji?
They have a limited amount of free will. If you had free will, it would mean that you could be the architect of your own existence. You could desire, okay, this is how I want my life to be, stage 1, stage 2, right to stage 100, and you'll have the power to fulfill that. But at the same time, if we even limit that to one example of a person who, say, had that power, there's no guarantee that if you did all these things, you would be happy. You see? We're leaving that factor out. You see, life cannot be said, I have a free will to design A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? But it's not that which constitutes life. Life is not merely the perceiving of the elemental play. It's not, it is about how you feel about it. And your feelings change, even within the same unit of consciousness, is changing day after, one day from another, it is changing. And there are certain factors contributing to the way that you change, which are untraceable. So you are not fair in the question like that, you see? To say that, but is it like this or like that? Because it isn't like this or that.
But life is so simple between birth and death. It's so simple.
Yes, it can
Happiness
be
and
simple,
sorrow.
and it can be most complex, depending upon your way of looking. I perceive it to be sublimely simple. As I say, the truth is simple, but the seeker of truth is complex.
And the seeker did not design himself.
The seeker does not design.
I did not design myself. I came from my parents. my father and mother, a sperm and an ovum.
They didn't design you either.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Everything is predestined. Everything is automatic. It appears that the human being has a free will, apparently. So the apparent free will is actually a hoax, a big play of Maya, what the Indians say.
Yes, it's true. We just love the idea of free will, yes. And God knows we love it.
He said, I think something like editing and contradicting.
Everything is?
Conflicting and contradicting free will. The gentleman was just commenting.
We need that friction in order to perfect our discernment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me try you first over there. Come and see. Thank you.
Namaskar, Moojibaba.
Namaskar.
I find difficulty in effort and easiness.
You find difficulty in effort and
Easiness.
easiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you find difficulty in making effort and also in things being too easy.
Yes. I will explain a little bit.
You will need to, yes.
Like 3 years ago, when I met you during the Satsang,
Yes.
I have a recognition, on the self. And the last year, I was feeling I was having very strong feeling for freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But then, even in the invitation and reading Ramana Maharishi, that you don't need to do any effort. Things will come in their own.
Yes.
And this time I feel like emptiness. It is no more that feeling like before. So there is anxiety, I feel there is anxiety because I think I might lose my way because there is no more this strong desire.
There will continue to be effort where effort is needed for some things, and a dropping away of effort where effort is not needed for something. It cannot just be no effort at all anywhere. Your life demands that some effort is made, but maybe in the way of pushing the mind to try and get somewhere, Sri Bhagwan was referring that don't make so much effort like that, so that you come into the recognition of spontaneous existence more and more. Because especially in Western world, we venerate the intellect and the mind so much, and we want to use it and manipulate it and to get things that we project and so on. And we don't admit that it creates certain complexities and has certain side effects that we will not admit, that it makes sometimes a very unwell society in other respects, So Sri Bhagwan is right when he say that, don't push the mind so much because the fruits are not going to be sweet. The minute you recognize that, you don't have to be manipulating life so much. When we have strong sense of personal identity, we are very much in the doership mode. We want to do and to change and to fix, always to try and suit very temporary projections that we have about life. However, as you begin to observe more and with less attachment, one comes to a recognition of a silent space within your own self, whereby one can confirm that life indeed takes care of life. And it's not the mind has to take care of life in quite the same way. So fortunate are they who find peace in that way. But sometime it may come as a challenge. You may start to feel, but then what to do when there's nothing to do. Some people, there's a fear, I don't know if I want to come to a state where there's nothing I have to do. But this is a false conception in the mind, because you were never, even in the days when you had the sense that you are the doer, it was still not you doing. Is that the body was compelled to act, then the mind took ownership of that and says, I do. And so these things become clear even without intense study, simply by bringing the focus upon one's sense of being and the stillness of that. It is tremendously powerful, very potent thing to be in that stillness, just paying attention to the awareness itself, like awareness being aware of itself. It can seem to the outsider, an onlooker, that what are you doing sitting around just not doing anything? But such a being is intensely purifying the entire field of consciousness. It has this power to do it. And so it can come sometimes the feeling of, wow, this is like, there was a certain joy in the sense of achievement and doing, and now that joy is dropped away. I would say it is replaced by a much higher, altitude of consciousness, which sees that the world is actually left alone in a way. It takes care of itself. And by that, I don't mean human beings should pull away and watch the earth. No, our life stream, the life flow, is part of the dynamic unfolding of the world. The problem is with the sense of doership. And that gradually, thins away as you are discovering your innate, original, peaceful nature. Effort will come when effort is needed. Effortlessness will come when there's no effort needed. And these waves you will come to know very well, intuitively. We don't need to study or make some kind of system out of anything. The great system is working already. So much so that even the sense of disharmony is part of the great harmony. So great is the power of God. Myself, sometimes people say, you're doing so much because I'm working in the community doing things, but I don't have the sense I'm doing really, And so I don't get tired and don't sleep so long also. Because it's the mind that would make you so tired. I see people much, much more tired from the mind than from physical work even. When you are more grounded in your own being, less time is wasted on futile projections. They are recognized much more quickly and they're discarded much more quickly. So we're not running, chasing the wind. Something is informing your actions. It's beautiful, it's a joy in itself actually.
But there is anxiety too, Moojibaba. I feel anxiety.
You feel anxiety?
Anxiety, yeah.
Anxiety is a state of mind.
Yeah.
And that comes sometimes when we are perhaps considering a certain way of using the mind, and the nature is not cooperating with fulfilling those projections, which is right that it shouldn't. It's good that life is not here to fulfill our projections, you see? So then you less hold them and see that actually nothing is lost except anxiety. I would love to sit with you and talk a bit more about it. Thank you. You can come? Let me see, yes. I have a letter that came here also. And, oh, it's not long.
Namaskaram ji.
Aye.
We are getting thoughts from the mind. Who is commanding the mind and the body to do? Who is commanding the mind?
Who is
that?
commanding the mind and the body to function? You see, it depends what you can accept. If I say it's the life force is doing it, the life force also is acting in obedience with the will of the Supreme. You know, that where do thoughts come from also? And, you know, many thoughts come and they just burn themselves up because they didn't get the response from you that would proliferate them, you see. They come as potential, and depending upon the strength of your personal identity, you will give them that much attention or don't give them attention. To the extent that you are satisfied within yourself and realize that most thoughts perhaps, don't have any real thing to contribute to the purity and the beauty of your life, you will ignore them, and to that extent, those thought activities will just become redundant. But if you are excited by thought, if you are more of a creative temperament and you are excited by thought also, that is to do also with the destiny of your expression for a bit. But those destinies are not locked, they are also potential, and they can change. Okay, I'm going to read just this little thing here. A letter came here. It says, earlier you used to tell us to hold on to the I am. You understand this one? Mm-hmm. I always try to do it while cooking, watching TV, or all the time. I feel when I do it, automatically I go to witnessing I, or second bird, non-clinging to what's going on with the first bird or the personal I. You follow this point? Yeah, okay. So again, just coming back, earlier you used to tell us to hold on to the sense I am, that natural intuition that comes, the untaught way in which you know yourself, that vibration, the feeling, I exist, I am feeling. That's natural. I always try to do it while cooking, watching TV, or all the time. I try to just stay in the I am. I feel when I do it, automatically I go to witnessing I, or the second bird, the same thing, non-clinging to what's going on with the first bird or the personal I. So whatever is happening in the life, you're not so engaged with that. It seems to be happening automatically to some extent. It's not that you are in some kind of swoon or something. You're present, but you're not so attached. It's like the action is going on, but you're not logged into it. So it's just happening like that. And that is the beauty of staying in the vibration of just the I am. The sense I am, without allowing it to connect up with any intention or any other concept, that is a very natural and simple meditation and works beautifully. I'll continue. But now I feel stuck here or feel unresolved because experientially I don't experience the one who is watching both the bird or the emptiness about what you always talk about. Now you want to, so when we spoke about the first bird, which represented our activities in life, you have got a job, you got your family, you're going on holiday, all that is involved, that is required to be involved in that life. Most people, I would imagine, are to some extent concerned about their livelihood, about making sure that their families get the best they can get, having a good job, making a name for yourself in the world. We call that the first bird in the example I gave, that on a branch, a bird is building a nest and having its chicks and so on and feeding them. That represented our dynamic life. And then I said on a branch just above sat another bird, identical in feature, but this bird is not doing anything. It quietly is just looking on. So in its view is the first bird and all its activities and the environment. but it's not so much doing. And that second bird position was relating to that aspect or ability within ourselves to observe with detachment. Now I said that the second bird is actually inside the first bird. You see? Then we said, yes, I can see and relate within my own life that I'm moving about doing my daily activities, and at the same time, through being pointed to it, I'm able to observe that there's a dimension within myself where I'm merely just observing. I'm not really doing. You may call it the witnessing. Now, this letter is saying, I've been doing that for a while. It was very beautiful. There was a certain amount of peace. But now, the last paragraph, but now I feel stuck here. I feel stuck here, even at the place of the witnessing, which is a higher stage than the ego I fully identified with this life. The witness is more spacious, is more detached. It's a beautiful state, that unmixed sense of presence. But now I feel stuck here. I feel unresolved because experientially I don't experience the one who is watching both birds, or the emptiness about what you always talk. Experientially, I don't experience the one who is watching. I don't experience the one who is watching both the birds, or the emptiness about which. How can you observe the emptiness? You are that emptiness. You see, nothing is wrong. But because we are used to putting a position and we put ourselves located in the body, yes, I'm looking from the body and I can see the first bird, we see the first bird. I can see second bird, second bird is quietly observing. I was happy with that for a while. But now you are speaking about this vastness within which first and second bird themselves are perceived. But I can't see that one. As you know, you are that one. Ooh. But how can I be sure? You see? So even the doubt that is arising is also perceived there. But it doesn't touch or disturb that ultimate seeing. Where is the position, where is the location of that which can perceive outside and inside simultaneously? Where is it? Where is it located, that which is able to perceive internal and external simultaneously? Where is that? See? This is what she's speaking, you see. I can't perceive it because it isn't a location. Where is the infinite located? That something inside is always related to the finite. The person is finite. Even the witness is sheer finiteness and infiniteness. But that which witnesses both. Where is its location, you see? In what direction will I point to where the self is? Is it north or south or east? It's nowhere. Even the pointing finger is perceived in it. Where is the location? Where's the GPS for the infinite? But something just feels, whoa, no, that's just too big for me. Can I see the infinite? Whilst holding on to the sense of being finite. Automatically it's happening. Automatically. You only need to keep confirming all that I perceive, clouds passing. Everything that my feelings, thoughts, otherness, the world, even my idea of God is passing. The breath is passing, thoughts are passing, feelings are passing, days are passing, time is passing, change is passing, life is passing, death is passing, everything's passing. Accept that. And someone says, "But how can I see that?" But the one who is saying, "How can I see that?" is also passing. You see, the Satsangs were maybe a long time ago. It would really indeed be rare to be in Satsangs of this nature that's really exploring into the ultimate truth beyond merely conceptual gratification or conviction. You see? Anybody can come to Satsang. It's a new time. So sometimes people come with very strong personal identity, and any kind of person can come to Satsang, you see. But then when we come to these more subtle seeing, and you're holding your reference is in form, your self-reference is in form and history and memory, then it's very difficult to the sense, but how can I let go? How can I go beyond, you see? So to be told, but you are already beyond. And, but I can't see that, I can't see. So it's a little struggle. So sometimes I say in satsang, if I had to choose 20 people with whom we can sit and really look at this and who are ready, really in the heart, would you be one of them? I have to say like that. Because, of course, many people say, yeah. But sometimes in looking, we begin to see that which is in conflict, seemingly in conflict with the purity of yourself. And because we have a habit to nurture some concepts, some ideas, because the mind wants them, is attached to them, then there's a fear of letting them go. Sometimes it even feels that if we were to leave them aside, then we are doing harm to ourselves, you see. So this already is slowing down of something, you see. This is why it was so important to have living sages, so people it could parry the mind, because they couldn't say, well, but, I might die. And say, but he's alive. So the mind couldn't get away with these threats if you go one more step. In my own life, I remember a time when, I'd come to a certain point in seeing, and it was like, if you go one more step, you're going to turn into a hunchback. Some thought come like this, and I could see, and something just want to stop and say, no, okay, I don't want this to happen to me. Your mind creates these things, you see. So to go beyond them, and each time you go beyond that, immense space come again, you see. If fear comes, you feel paralyzed, feel afraid to make a step because you feel you're going to get punished for it. This is the play of the psychological self, you see. And the emptiness that we speak, I'm using the word emptiness, it is the most natural. It is here, which is this is this very source of the peace, of joy, of real natural confidence, of wisdom and love. Unconditional love is there. Because you have transcended the limitations of personhood. And that is a possibility. Not only a possibility, I don't know how much of a probability it is, but certainly it is here. When I see you, that is the fact of you to me. When we must relate through the person, it becomes a little bit like moving through sludge. It's a bit more hard because you're working with something that's not reliable, when you can overstep, when you can move into the height of your consciousness, you see that you don't have to work so hard. You're already what you're searching for. It only needs to be recognized. So when you see people come and they misrepresent what you say, and they want to somehow, it's not so innocent, that, oh, you're misguiding people and all this kind. This is not true. It really is very poor. Very poor. Because here, human beings can wake up, you see. I'm not giving you entertainment, spiritual fantasies to keep you on the road looking. No, I'm showing you that which is here. That is more here than you. You are more here than you. More here than the you imagine yourself to be. That is always a fluctuating state. It is not reliable. To discover the truth, you see, this is the paradox, in fact, that the most obvious is the most obviously missed. And it is a joy, a beauty to see us growing back out of it, returning to your natural state. It's not a creative process. Imagination is not needed. Visualization is not needed. For the one who has this earnestness inside for freedom, it is not difficult. It's a joy to do. Self-discovery is a joy. Of course, it's also a joy to experience challenges and fears and to transcend them. I feel this is the real crux of the game of existence, is of transcendence, meaning to overcome that which appears to be an obstacle, you see. We speak about, the shadows and the clouds that block us. I say, no, you're speaking from a different position. The sun does not know shadow, it does not know cloud. And you need not strain yourself. You need not torture your mind to discover the truth. We simply must transcend the field of ignorance. There's nothing to make, only to discover. And what joy, what peace, what love. So blessed is the one whose life is the evidence of the truth, not just words. No? Even without speaking, your being is radiating that influence, in fact. Okay. Thank you for today.
Cheetaninaham च श्रोत्रजीवे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायुः न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोश न वाक्पाणिपादम् न चोपस्थपायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मे द्वेषरागौ न मे लोभमोहौ मदो नैव मेनैव मात्सर्यभावः न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न पुण्यं न पापम् न सौख्यं न दुःखम् न मन्त्रो